afterwards. Thank you, and welcome to the.
I'm not gonna stand behind that one. You want to move that, Dave? Thank you, Beth. No, that's fine. I'm more comfortable not being behind a plate like that. Yeah, amongst the people, so to speak. So my name is Mike Wojcik. I'm on Commonwealth Court. I've been on the court since 2016. And I'm privileged to be on that court, but more importantly, I'm privileged to have run in 2015 and am standing for attention in 2025 with a truly distinguished group of jurors. So we see on our screen here, Justice Christine Donahue. We'll hear from her in a moment, and as she often she corrects errors. Because her court is reviewing my court frequently. Additionally, Justice Kevin Doherty, who maybe lost in the wilds of Bedford County. We were just in he mentioned there that he felt like the fresh air kid. So that may be his excuse today. The third Supreme Court candidate is Justice David, unfortunately cannot be here today. He has a number of conflicts. We're all trying to cover the debate as much as possible. And number one, it's a big state, but the good thing is there's 5 of us standing for attention, so we're going to try to be able we can be. The 5th member of our married band is Judge Alice Dubois from Philadelphia. She's on Superior. So if you note, and I love saying this, we figured this out 10 years ago. You have Justice Donahue, Justice Doherty, Justice Wright, Judge Dubois, and Judge Wojcik. There's a commonality there. All of our last names start with the letter D or W. So it's very simple, Democrats win. So what we have, just to give you background, Dave asked me to kind of give a structural explanation of the court system. So think of the court system as a pyramid. The minor judiciary, and again, there's nothing minor about the work you do, it's just what the title is the base of the pyramid. And as we know, bases are foundations. They are truly one of the most important parts of any structure, because if that fails, the whole system collapses. Okay? They, as we heard, very important. They're the retail branch of government. They deal, as a court, they deal with your problems, your disputes on a daily basis, you know, person to person, small claims, arraignments, landlord, tenant, you name it. Next level is the courts of common pleas. That's the trial court in general. I'll get to that in a moment. But they handle all of the larger cases, criminal division, civil division, orphans court division that does wills and estates, other specialized areas, and finally family division, which is, in my humble opinion, the most important part of our court system, because that's where we have domestic relations. That's where we have child delinquency, child dependency. So that's where we take care of children born in distress, troubled children, troubled families. Next level up, we have what's called the intermediate appellate courts. Now, I think 1 or 2 states, West Virginia and maybe Montana, don't have this. Appeals go directly from their trial court to their Supreme Court. Most states that have appellate courts, well, I'm going to rephrase it, I'm going to change that. All states except Pennsylvania that have independent intermediate appellate courts have 1, the equivalent of our Superior. Pennsylvania since 1970 has had a Commonwealth. That's the court I sit. So my court's jurisdiction is extremely specialized. We deal in all government cases. Notice I didn't say all government appeals. We hear appeals from courts of common pleas that deal in municipal issues, primarily from those zoning cases. Court claims, you know, auto accidents and the like against municipal authorities, A big one is SEPTA in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh Regional Transit in Allegheny County. Camtrans and Cambridge County is another example. There's an accident. Someone's injured on a bus. Those cases go through their courts of common pleas, the appeal comes to us. Then we also do appeals from state agencies. And this is where our court really has an effect on everyday Pennsylvanians' lives. We hear appeals from agencies such as the Workers' Compensation Appeal Board, from unemployment compensation, PennDOT appeals. So things dealing with your everyday rights, your benefits come through us. So extremely important. My favorite, I think, since 2020 might be different, area of our jurisdiction is election law. Pre-2020, it was very interesting and very stimulating me, because my background is I was a county solicitor in Allegheny County. So this is one of the areas that I had a very, very refined specialty in. Since 2020, a while, but you've all read the papers. So we do things like ballot access appeals, the petitions you're passing around today. If you file them in Harrisburg, we review those and rule on objections. So if you see me walking around and I see someone signing a petition, I'm gonna turn around and walk away because I don't want to be a witness. I want to hear that case that comes in. So don't be offended if I don't look at your petitions now, but trust me, I'll look at them later. We also handle any case directly filed against the governor, the state government, any aspect of the state government, or cases that the state government brings. For example, you all remember Purdue Pharma, the makers and marketers of OxyContin? Well, when Governor Shapiro was Attorney General, he sued Purdue on behalf of the citizens of Pennsylvania. That suit was filed in our court. We were going to be the trial court for that and hear that case. And I was going to be the judge to try that case as a single judge trial. For better or for worse, Purdue filed bankruptcy, so that case was stayed. It is still on our docket, waiting on that bankruptcy discharge from the federal courts. If it occurs, that goes away. If it doesn't occur, it will likely come back to me. So that is a basic outline of everything below Supreme Court. I didn't cover Superior Court. Superior Court is our sister court. They basically handle appeals on everything we don't do. So divorce cases, medical malpractice cases, court cases, auto accidents, things of that nature. Criminal cases, that's a huge part of their docket. So all that goes up through Supreme Court. Now, once a case is fully heard on either Supreme Court, or Superior Court, or Commonwealth Court, there is a procedure called petition for allowance of appeal. You can ask the Supreme Court to hear your appeal. They can pick and choose the cases. They pick the important cases where there are issues that need to be clarified. The law needs to be defined better, or maybe the law needs to be altered in some fashion. On appeals, the Superior Court and Commonwealth Court are referred to as error correction courts. We correct errors of either courts of common pleas, or in our instance, the state agencies. Supreme Court is not that. Supreme Court is a policy court. They tell us what the law is, and then we apply what they tell us in our decisions. So my day-to-day job is pretty interesting to me. It probably wouldn't be to you, because I sit in a chair and read briefs, and then I write opinions. And then when I'm lucky to get in the court on the appellate side, I will hear argument, make a decision. When I sit as a trial judge, sit in court with lawyers, put in evidence, and I make a ruling there. So that is basically an outline of how the court system up to Supreme Court operates. And when Justice Donahue speaks after me, I dare not step on those toes. She has much more expertise in Supreme Court's operations. Now, let me talk about this year, because this is why I'm here. We have an opportunity this year to defend what we did in 2015. And I hope you all understand what a monumental task we achieved in 2015. 2015, there were 5 seats up, 3 Supreme Court seats in particular. We swept all 5. There's 7 seats on our Supreme Court. We almost took a majority 10 years ago. And Justice Donahue, I'm sure, will explain to you what was happening with the Supreme Court prior to them coming on. Since those 3 justices came on, with all your help, the Supreme Court has been like a well-oiled machine. I read all of their opinions that deal with my work. I don't really care about Superior Court, so I'll read those opinions. Every opinion that deals with cases coming out of our jurisdiction, I read. And the great thing about this Supreme Court, we all understand what they're saying. They are clear, they are concise, they are just wonderful pieces of jurisprudence that explain what the law is to judges, but more important to lawyers. There's no guesswork involved. So I commend that Supreme Court for what they're doing currently. So please keep them where they are. We've been told, and there have been rumblings, that there are forces out there organizing a vote no campaign. And they're just saying vote no against the justices. What's their reason? Because they want to knock these 3 justices out, to turn the tide, so that in 2027, their seats are open, that they can be filled again by candidates of their preference, who aren't as independent as these justices aren't as thoughtful or as expert as they are. And the justices are Justice Christine Donahue, who you'll hear from, Justice David Wecht, and Justice Kevin Doherty. I'm going to keep saying their names, so you keep remembering who they are. And then the 5th one again is Judge Alice Dubon, Superior Court. Now, if they are successful, and if these 3 justices are not retained, then this is the truly terrifying thing when I think about this. For 2 years, until 2027, those 3 seats will remain vacant. There will be 2 justices on the Supreme Court who are elected as Republicans, 2 justices who are elected as Democrats. Now, the odds are, when you have an alignment like that, how often do you think you'll get 3 votes in this climate, with the pressures that are being forced upon us from outside forces? Unlikely. So if we end up having a 2-2 split on that court, what's going to get done for 2 years? Absolutely nothing. It's going to be chaos, and that's what these forces out there want. And if they're saying, oh, there's chaos, you have to vote for our candidates. But there's no reason to vote no for these justices, because these justices, as I said, are tremendous. And I'm saying that from someone who has been reversed by them a few times, more than a few times. But when they reverse me, they tell me why. And, you know, they're usually right. Not all the time, they're usually right. So let's talk about what's going on now with the campaign that they're running. Elon Musk has already spent $1 million in Pennsylvania to set up an infrastructure. He's got 23 employees out there running this campaign. Vote no, vote no, vote no, vote no. They keep saying vote no, vote no, vote no, vote no. It's going to sink. Okay, and so if that happens, you're going to have vote no on the 3 Supreme Court justices. You're going to have vote no on Alice Dubon, Superior Court judge. You're going to have vote no on the Commonwealth Court judge. It's not going to stop there. There are 68 common pleas judges in this Commonwealth standing for attention this year. You think they're going to be able to discern from that ballot that, oh, we just need to vote no on these 3 justices? No, they're going to go down that ballot at the end and vote no from top to bottom. And what's that gonna do? It will wipe out an entire generation of our judiciary. Think of the expertise that you have there. Think of what we have invested in from this Commonwealth, in this judiciary, okay? It is truly, truly beyond the pale what they're trying to do with this. Okay? Every one of these justices I'm talking about, Alice Dubois and humbly, we're all experts at what we do. We're committed, we have integrity, we have knowledge, and I invite you, read our opinions. You'll see, we've gotten compliments from the bar. Thank you, Judge Wojcik, for what you're doing. We understand. We don't always agree with your decisions, always, at least one person is going to be in disagreement with us, but they always say, you're fair, you write clearly, and you reach a proper result. So I beg you, focus on that. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell anyone you can how important this is. And I saw yesterday, Musk dropped $1.6 million into the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. There's one opening in Wisconsin. Okay, that's a contested race. He did this 3 months before that election. So he's throwing around $1 million here, $1 million there, which to him is like a nickel or a dollar for us. So we don't have that money. We are all public servants. We're not wealthy. We don't have any financial backers who can back us. In fact, we can't even ask anyone for money, and we don't. We have committees that raise money for us and help us. I have literally no idea who gave money to my campaign in 2015 and how much. We're all that same way. We do not, that doesn't sway us. We believe in our ethics and we live that every day. So I'm asking you this year to start from the bottom of your ballot in November. Do the bottom first. That's where we are. That's the retention. And it's going to show up on there. Shall Justice Christine Donahue be retained? Your answer is yes. Shall Justice Kevin Doherty be retained? Your answer again is yes. Shall Justice David Weck be retained? Your answer, yes. Shall Judge Alice Dubois be retained? Again, yes. Should Judge Michael Wojcik be retained?
Yes.
Yes. And I don't think there's a conflict, Judge, here. Yes to all of them. It doesn't matter how we're elected. If we're elected from a Democratic Party or a Republican Party, you can see how we're performing now, and that's what's important. Okay? So I ask you, then when you're done with that, skip up to the top of the ballot. We have 2 great candidates. Stella Sonic, who you'll hear from in a moment. Right to find a lot of you have for all. And then we have Brendan Newman from Washington County. He's a sitting common police judge. Been on the common police court since 2017. And he is an excellent candidate as well. Going to be a great Superior Court judge. I have had the pleasure of reviewing several of his opinions, and they are excellent. So I'm a little offended he went to the University of Richmond undergrad, played football there, which is pretty cool. But we won't hold that against him. He didn't go to Pitt. But just an aside, speaking of that, I said this just a few hours ago up in Somerset County. I live in Pittsburgh now, but I'm not originally from Allegheny County. I was born in Somerset County at Winter Hospital, grew up in Central City, went to Shade High School up on a mountain. My parents were from, my dad was from Central City, but my mom was born in Bedford. So actually, I'm your hometown candidate. So please, remember the answer that you should give to us and tell all your friends who say is vote yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. And if I may, the side is running to fill the open seat on my